Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the Daily SPY Report for Thursday, December 9th, 2021. Before we take a look at the charts, just want to encourage you to please click like if you like the Daily SPY Report, if you're watching it every day, or if this is your first time clicking it. Clicking like every time is greatly appreciated. And subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel, please do so. It will provide you notification each and every time the Daily SPY Report has been uploaded for your viewing or any other content Wicked Stocks uploads to the YouTube channel. There's usually at least one additional item per week, and the Daily SPY Report, of course, every day is uploaded, by around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, Chicago, each and every trading day for the next trading day. So subscribing will have you notified when that occurs. Let's take a look at the charts. We'll jump into this one first and foremost. This is sort of an extension of what I've been talking about the last few days. This rally has reached now into the very low 470s, 470 even on the money. Actually, that descending channel top, as simple as it is, I think does represent an area that can contain buying through next week, and below which, so long as we continue posting settlements on a day-by-day basis below that formation, at or below that formation, we can quite easily over the next 3 to 5 days fall back to 459.14, and over the next 2 to 3, 3 to 5 weeks, depending on how well we bounce off of 459.14. If we bounce off of 459.14, if we get a 3 to 5 day bounce back into the 470s or 460s, upper 460s by that point in time, you could take, more like 3 to 5 weeks. But there is the possibility of 2 to 3 weeks, especially if over the next few days, for instance, we do close below 459.14. Then we're looking at another week, 10 days, something like that, whereby we can then test 443.57 midterm support. And so that 443.57 formation is in reach. I'm going to say by the end of December into early January, holding below 470.06. Now, of course, there are no certainties. You do have, I'd say, minor signs of weakness that sort of begin to affirm that view, the view of holding below 470.06 will keep 443.57 in reach over the next 3 to 5 weeks. The most significant is what you see right here on this chart at 459.14. But for instance, if we close Thursday today, December 9th, below the 466.83 low from Wednesday, that in itself is a sign of weakness that should then yield 459.14 over the next few days. Now, my support and resistance levels don't say as much. I'm just giving you an example of what could be sort of a downside tipping point. There are others that I'm weighting a little stronger. Let's actually take a look at the support and resistance for today. You've got the 470.06 channel top here as a 3-star resistance, able to contain buying through next week, and below which, as I say, 443.57 in reach over the next 3 to 5 weeks. Downside today, 466.56 is still an intraday containment level. Yes, it is below that 466.83 low from yesterday. There are other things going on in the 466 handle, and so you have to sort of pick and choose. It is not uncommon, as you're well aware, for the market to put out a high, break below the low the next day, like, if today, for instance, we break below 466.83, that could be just by narrow margin, i.e., 466.56 before the market comes rallying back into the very low 470s again on an intraday basis. So I'm kind of holding to sort of the technical layout that I'm seeing here without getting too deeply into the details. Breaking 466.56 would indicate 461.95 intraday, where I would expect a daily low. And just know that if we close below 461.95, then yes, that 459.14 formation, then likely tomorrow, where we can bottom out into later next week, and from there perhaps rally back to the 470.06 channel top within 2 to 3 to 5 days or so. As I think I mentioned yesterday, we could trade inside that band all the way through next week. And of course, as I also already mentioned, closing below 459.14, we have another week, 10 days or so before I would expect the market to continue south and test the 443.57 formation, which can actually contain selling through January trade. And from there, the market can turn higher, retest those old highs in the 470s, and even push into the 480s or higher as we continue into January. And that's about all I'm going to say for the downside. Let's talk upside. If we do push today or open above 470.06, I do think that 473.54 high from, a few weeks ago, November 22nd actually was the day. 473.54 is the all-time high. So if we push or open today above 470.06, 473.54 is at play, where we can top out at least initially, possibly double top there for the day. And if we fall back, of course, and close below 470.06, I'm still holding to the possibility of falling back into the 440s over the next 3 to 5 weeks. But if we close above 470.06, then we have a meaningful sign of bullish continuation into next week, probably through next week. I would then anticipate 476.69 within 2 to 3 days and the low 480s. Over the next week or two, depending on volatility. And you can see there's nothing more than the long-term trend line is rising gradually. It's better illustrated here. This long-term trend line goes back to the August 2020 high. It's performed very well since the September high in containing buying on a monthly basis. We did essentially test it over the last month. Several times we pushed to within 1% of it, which for me is an essential test on long-term resistance and support levels. As you push into the 1% zone, it is the time to set shorts, liquidate long positions. I'm talking in terms of resistance, in terms of a ceiling where the market could top out on a longer term basis. And that remains true at 480.89. And I mentioned yesterday how 480.89 is really the start now of a meaningful range of longer term resistance up to 482.72, which is a new rising channel top based on the lows that were put out several days ago. But the channel formation itself spans several months. And so the 480.89 to 482.72 area, we can top out through January, possibly into February, and from there the market is then prone to bearish rotation over that time horizon. Over the following month or two, we could fall back into the 440s, which I've been illustrated also at 443.57 today. Now, if we did close above 482.72, and that would also be above 480.89, obviously, which I think is the more significant of those two. I consider 482.72 kind of the slippage factor, if you will. You can push through 480.89 and test 482.72 and back off. As long as you keep closing at or below that area, the market is then prone to bearish rotation on a longer-term time frame. And by that, I mean over the following several months. But if we close above 482.72, and I think it's best to illustrate this on a weekly chart. This is the same, these are the same line studies, but on the weekly bar chart. So they have a slightly different value, 480.77 to 484.75. So if we closed above those dual formations in the coming weeks, and it's not going to happen this week, but it just might happen by the end of December, then we are, in fact, in the midst of a longer-term buy signal that should, over the following 3 to 5 months or so, reach that 530.43 rising channel top, which, by the way, is in the 550s firmly by February 1st. And so, you're talking 3 to 5 months out. We're into March where it could easily be in the 560s or 570s by then. So it would be a meaningful buy signal as that channel top continues to rise, and it does become a realistic target within about 3 to 5 months following a settlement above 484.75. So there's some long-term perspective right there. Let's go back to the support and resistance for the day, and I'll just sort of reemphasize that 470.06 remains a pivot point through next week. We are below it. We have sort of approached it. We haven't actually tested it to the very tick, but we're very close. And holding below it will keep the market prone, susceptible to falling back into later December and into January trade. 459.14 in reach by the end of next week or sooner, and that 443 and change longer-term support level, 443.57 over the next 3 to 5 weeks. And inversely, if we close today above 470.06, then the low 480s, meaningful long-term resistance, 480.89 to 482.72, become the next 1 to 2 week objective. And that is a big test for this market longer term as we push into Q2 of next year. And that's really all that needs to be said. I'll leave you with the support and resistance levels. You can print it off your smartphone or your desktop, whatever the case may be. Please click like if you like the Daily Spy Report, and subscribe if you'd like to be notified each and every time the Daily Spy Report is uploaded to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. That's all I've got. I will talk to you tomorrow for Friday's Daily Spy Report. Until then, have a great evening.